Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Josh from the Back Row Cincinnati Bengals show, brought to you by fansided.com. Usually I'm coming on, I'm in a very chipper mood, even when the Bengals lose, when they're not looking good, something bad happens. I'm still in a happy mood, still happy to be around. But I've been looking on Twitter. I've been, talking with people. I've been listening to local radio. And something in me has caused me to come on here and make a short live stream of the current state of the Cincinnati Bengals and the current state of the Cincinnati Bengals fan base. This Sunday, Bengals lost bad, and when I say bad, it could not be overemphasized. The Bengals lost terribly. They looked awful. The Bengals now dropped to 1-3. That's not what's putting me in such a sour mood. What's putting me in such a sour mood is the fact that this fan base has already decided to punt on the season, that the season's over. I understand that losing two in a row or losing three games to start the year, only having one lit win, having your quarterback hurt, it could leave a bad taste in your mouth. But to say that this team can't make the playoffs, that this team still can't achieve everything that the team was expected to achieve is downright pathetic. It is downright pathetic. We have seen this team, this Cincinnati Bengals team, over the past 3 years be dealt with adversity, have to deal with adversity, had to overcome adversity, and they've done it. Joe Burrow's calf is injured. I get it. Here's the problem. It's the NFL. Everybody gets injured. Do you think that this team is ready to punt on the season? Do you think they're not going to figure something out? Do you think Joe Burrow is not going to figure something out? Joe Burrow, let me emphasize this. Joe Burrow is very aware of himself, of the team, of everything. He knows what he has to fix, and it will get fixed. Zach Taylor, we have seen him at his worst. We have also seen him at his best outcoach Mike Vrabel, Andy Reid in playoff games. He outcoached Sean McVay this season. We watched him outcoach Sean McDermott. We watched him take a Bengals team that should not have even been in the playoffs and take them to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. With a worse team, might I add. The negativity that is coming from the Bengals fan base is pathetic because it is based on the getting punched in the mouth and not getting back up. And it's not just the fan base. It is local radio. It's national radio. It feels like the only one that is still sticking with the Bengals in the national radio is Skip Bayless. So what do we have to do together? We got to come together and realize that this team is good. This team can be really good. This team still has everything that it wants to be right in front of it. Stop punting on the season. Adversity happens to every NFL team. If you thought that the Bengals were going to walk to the Super Bowl, that was never going to happen. What I don't understand is how we had Super Bowl admirations, and just like that, we're not making the playoffs, and we should punt the season. We should sit Joe Burrow out in week 5. Let's get it together. There's problems all over the team. I understand that. There's questions that are all over the team. There's changes that need to be made. And they will be made. Put a smile on your face. This is a great time to be a Bengals fan. We have our quarterback. I believe we have our coach. We have a guy, a defensive coordinator, who the entire national media has no idea how he does not have a head coaching job. Teams that have been down, had a losing record at a time, been losing in games and come back to win. I go back to the Chiefs game 2 years ago. I go back to Baltimore in the playoff this year. Or last year, excuse me. So now it comes down to what do we got in front of us? Well, here's the thing. You got 2 games until the bye. You have at Arizona and you got Seattle. 2 teams that are played very tough football. But you should win this game. And you know what the Bengals are going to do? They're going to go out and they're going to go win these games. And they're going to get to the bye. Then they're going to come home against the Niners, and then it's time to get off and running. Stop punting on the season. The season is not over. There is a lot of football left to be played. This team, if you want to talk about them not making the playoffs, take a look at the AFC North. Yeah, it looks a little shady right now. Have you seen Baltimore? Have you looked at their injury list? Have you looked at their history over the past 4 years? They can't hold up. They haven't been. Go through the record book. Even on the years that they have won the division, they lose in the first round. They don't make it. Have you looked at the Steelers' offense? It's garbage. It's garbage. And we don't know how Kenny Pickett's going to be the rest of the year. Have you looked at Cleveland's offense? They just lost their best offensive weapon in Nick Chubb. Deshaun Watson apparently is so injured that he couldn't play in an AFC North game, which meaning this injury could be worse than it is, and it could linger with him for the rest of the year. This division is wide open. They are not titans of football at the top of the AFC North. They just aren't. And here's the thing. Here's another thing. It's not like the Bengals aren't in the driver's seat, because they are. The Bengals are in the driver's seat. They can do everything that they have set out to do at the beginning of the season. It's time to let these players have a couple bad games, but still support them, because that's what they need. This team needs to see the Bengals fan base get behind them when times are tough, because it seems like a lot of you have forgotten the hard times of Cincinnati Bengals football. For those of you who have been around for, let's say, a decade, you know how hard it is. And look, if you want to question where I've been with the Bengals, I've watched them my entire life, well over 2 decades. Went to my first Bengals game when I was 8 years old. Watched every game ever since. Time to pull it together, Bengals fans. It's time to pull it together. This city was built on adversity. This team has been built on adversity. Yeah, you get punched in the mouth. That's life. That's the NFL. But it's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and get back up and keep going. And this Bengals team is going to keep going. So if you want to jump off the bandwagon now, go ahead. But this team will be back. And it will be this year. And they will make the playoffs. From there, all bets are off. It's the NFL. But this team will make it. Whether through the division or through the wild card. They're going to do it. And until we are mathematically eliminated, I'm going to die on that hill. So I say all that to say, we got another opportunity this week. We got in Arizona. We can go out west and go get a nice W against a team that is playing very hard, that is playing very good, that doesn't nearly have the talent that the Bengals have. You can go in there and make a statement. We ain't leaving. So it's time to come together and yell a collective hooday out into space. That's all I wanted to say. I'm going to get off here. Like I said, I was going to keep it short. But to the Bengals fans, good times are coming. Hold on to it. This has been the Back Row Cincinnati Bengals Show. I'm Josh Miller. And as always, hooday.